Now at noon, another mass shooting creates fear and chaos, this time in Kentucky. I'm Jurnee Taylor. Thank you for joining us. Police in Louisville, Kentucky say 5 people have been killed at a bank and 6 others were transported to a hospital, including 1 police officer. Kristen Benavides has more.
The deadly shooting erupted at a bank in downtown Louisville, Kentucky.
Within 3 minutes of being dispatched, officers arrived on scene and encountered the suspect almost immediately, still firing gunshots. Officers exchanged gunshots with that suspect, and ultimately that suspect did die at the scene. We believe this is a lone gunman involved in this that did have a connection to the bank.
Caleb Goodlet's wife works inside the building.
I got a call from my wife panicking that she was locked in the vault, that there was an active shooter in the building.
She took shelter inside along with other terrified workers.
They had a phone inside the vault. She was able to reach me. I haven't heard about her co-workers yet or anything, but I have talked to her and seen her. She's fine.
The incident comes just 2 weeks after the deadly school shooting in Nashville that claimed 6 lives.
At least 4 more victims were confirmed to be deceased inside the location.
Our community will continue to come together. We will find ways to love and support one another and the families and friends who have been directly impacted.
Authorities are asking the public for any information related to this latest shooting as they begin their investigation. Kristen Benavides, CBS News.
Just gives you chills. Well, in a tweet, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said he was heading to the scene, adding, "Please pray for all the families impacted and for the city of Louisville." We'll share developments with this story as we learn more. In a THV 11 update, a man is now being charged for his involvement in a stabbing in North Little Rock on Sunday afternoon. 54-year-old Curtis Stevens was a passenger on a Rock Region Metro bus, and he is now facing 1 count of battery in the first degree. According to officials, after being called out to a disturbance on the bus, police found a person who was suffering from at least 1 stab wound. The victim is in stable condition. However, Stevens is currently being held at the Pulaski County Regional Detention Facility without bond. And sad news to report today, the search of the missing kayakers is now over. Officials say that search crews have located the bodies of the missing father and son who went missing on Beaver Lake on March 16th. The Benton County Sheriff's Office confirmed that after 24 days of searching, the bodies of both Charles Morris IV and his son, Charles Morris V, have been recovered. Officials say search and rescue teams were able to use their underwater ROV in a challenging environment that exceeded depths of 180 feet. The family put out a statement thanking everyone involved to help recover the 2 missing men. And less than an hour ago, Governor Sarah Sanders signed one of the final bills of the legislative session to cut the income tax, a topic she campaigned on. Lawmakers wrapped up their work on Friday, ending the months-long session where the governor pushed several bills, including the tax cut and the LEARNS Act. You can learn more about the tax cuts right now on our website, that is thv11.com, and we'll have more on the signing tonight at 5 and 6. And now we turn to Corrales Ortiz for a look at our forecast. Good morning. Well, not morning.
Well, good afternoon, we should say now that it's officially 12 o'clock. But yeah, we had a beautiful holiday weekend and a pleasant start to the work week. Just seeing some partial breaks in the clouds, seeing peaks of sunshine break on through. Otherwise, a beautiful day. Temperatures are mild already, dipping into the 70s this morning across the region. In central Arkansas, a 67. In Perryville, Benton, in the 70s for Sheridan, Whitehall, and England as well. We're going to warm up just a few more degrees into the low 70s across the region this afternoon. Partly sunny, a calm wind coming in more from the east. This quiet weather pattern will persist for the next several days, along with a little bit of a warm up, but we do have the chance for rain back in the picture by this weekend. So we'll have more specifics on that with the full check of your forecast in minutes.
Well, circling back to the state capitol, according to Governor Sarah Sanders, President Biden will be approving her request for a 100% federal cost share for 30 days. The cost share covers state and local resources spent on storm debris cleanup, as well as emergency protective measures in Pulaski, Lone Oak, and Cross counties. This comes after severe storms and tornadoes caused significant damage across the state just over a week ago. Previously, the federal government covered 75% of all costs. And as recovery efforts continue, federal money is finally reaching Arkansans impacted. FEMA says it has already approved nearly $1.3 million in disaster assistance. The agency says nearly 4,000 individuals and families in Pulaski County and in Wynne have applied for FEMA assistance, but they believe many others have not yet applied. And speaking of the need for assistance, starting today, the hours of the Little Rock's Family Assistance Center are changing. Full service hours will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then it's drive-through pickup only from 4 to 7 p.m. The center allows people impacted by the tornado to pick up necessities and connect with city, state, and federal resources, as well as various nonprofit groups. It's located at the City Center on North Shackelford Road, and that is next to Emmanuel Baptist Church. Well, a pair of conflicting rulings pit a Trump-appointed judge in Texas against an Obama-appointed judge in Washington state over abortion. Now, their rulings have made it uncertain whether Americans have or will have access to an abortion pill, which has been on the market for more than 2 decades. Skylar Henry is at the Supreme Court with more on the legal and political consequences of the rulings.
The Biden administration says it will appeal a conservative federal judge's ruling which suspends FDA approval for the abortion pill mifepristone.
If a judge decides to substitute his preference, his personal opinion, for that of scientists and medical professionals, what drug isn't subject to some kind of legal challenge? So we have to go to court.
Protests erupted over the weekend following Judge Matthew Kaczmarek's decision. The Texas judge ruled that the FDA improperly approved mifepristone 23 years ago, ignoring legitimate safety concerns about the drug.
We think that the judge totally got it right. The FDA has to go back. It has to be transparent with the public about the studies that it relied on to make its decisions, and it's got to follow the science.
The FDA insists its procedures followed scientific process and says in the 23 years since the drug's approval, serious side effects are very rare. Just after the Texas ruling, a federal judge in Washington, appointed by former President Barack Obama, blocked any changes to mifepristone's availability in 17 states and the District of Columbia, where Democrats sued. The conflicting ruling set up a potential fast track to the Supreme Court where nationwide access to the drug could be on the line. The Biden administration says it's confident it'll win, even with a conservative majority.
I don't care who the 9 justices are on the Supreme Court or any court of appeal. They should be able to discern the difference between inserting their personal judgment and using the facts and evidence to make a legal ruling.
We can win this issue at the ballot box if we show up with reasonable positions. If we have our head in the sand, we're going to lose.
The court cases all but ensure that abortion rights will be a hot topic in next year's presidential election. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
Well, just last week, abortion rights helped propel a liberal judge in Wisconsin to an 11-point victory in a hotly contested election for the state Supreme Court. Well, this afternoon, Nashville's Metropolitan Council could vote to reinstate former state representative Justin Jones. Jones and fellow former state representative Justin Pearson were ousted from Tennessee's House last week by the Republican majority after they participated in a gun violence protest from the House floor. Shelby County officials could also vote to reinstate Pearson later this week. Efforts to expel State Representative Gloria Johnson failed by 1 vote. Protests over gun violence continued in Tennessee over the weekend after 3 children and 3 adults were gunned down in a Nashville school just last month. And Jon Rahm battled back from a 4-shot deficit to become this year's Masters champion. He is now the 4th Spaniard to put on the coveted green winner's jacket after overtaking runners-up Brooks, Koepka, and Phil Mickelson in a tournament that was plagued by rain and wind. The weather even caused a tree to topple down on Friday. Former 5-time Masters champ Tiger Woods withdrew Sunday morning, unfortunately due to an injury. Well, changing how food is made. The state of California is taking issue with the chemicals used in many popular snacks. How lawmakers are hoping to change how food distributors use food additives across the nation just ahead. And it's a new week and some good weather, Corrales. We can't be mad at that.
Yeah, he has a live look where we should be seeing the Trouts play later this week. The forecast is looking great. We have quiet weather for the next several days, but I'll let you know when our next chance of seeing some changes, including some rain in our forecast is. That's just ahead.